Hey guys, this is Doodle. It's been a while since I've made a tier list video. This one is a little bit different. This one is actually not what quite it seems. Although I do want to make My Little Pony tier list videos based off each season, the early seasons at least. This is actually a part of a big project I'm making. I've been wanting to do this for a while now, actually a long time, like a very long time, like my whole life, really. I've always just wanted to sit down and rank all the My Little Pony episodes, but I just didn't know how to quite go about it. So, this is my plan for right now. This video might be long because, if you guys don't know, I have a lot to say about My Little Pony, and it would be really hard just to rank them based off of how good they are simply. There is a lot of factors to consider when I am ranking this show. Other shows, it's a lot easier for me, but if you guys haven't known, I've been a brony for 12 years now, probably 13. It'll probably be 13 in a few months. So I've been a brony for a very long time, and I've always been a big one too. I know a lot about the show, the fandom, all that. It's always just kind of been something that stuck with me, even though I don't keep up with the show anymore. I kind of lost interest in the show itself after around season 6, really. It just kind of got boring and uninterested to me. But the peak My Little Pony seasons, in my personal opinion, are seasons 1, 2, and 3. Season 4 has some good episodes too, I'm not gonna lie, but after Twilight got her wings, the show dramatically changed. I think we can all agree after Twilight got her wings, the show definitely took a big turn into something else. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. I got distracted. Yeah, as I was saying, I kind of just lost interest in the show after a while. But it's still something I think about every day, really. It pops up into my head, and the Brony fandom definitely meant a lot to me, especially when I was younger. It still does now, of course. It's just the newer stuff doesn't really have an effect on me. I don't really care about Generation 5 or have no interest in it, and I don't think I ever will have interest in any of the new stuff. So, say for example, if I put one of these episodes in like F tier, don't think the episode is bad on like a standard of the entire series. If I put one of these episodes in F, that means the episode is bad. Not bad, but bad in like terms of like early season My Little Pony. Like I said, the first 3 seasons of My Little Pony are very different compared to the other seasons. And I think it would be extremely unfair to rank like the new episodes and the old episodes, because really, to be honest, they just feel like a completely different series. Like they don't even feel like the same show. So I feel like just making like a documentary video ranking every single episode of My Little Pony would be completely unfair, in my opinion, because again, it's very different. So I'm going to set up the rules for you guys, and I'm going to tell you how this is going to go. So, anyways, first I'm going to make this tier list for season 1, which is this video right now. Then I am going to make one for season 2. After that, I'm going to make one for season 3. So we'll have this one, season 2, and season 3. What I'm going to do, once I rank all 3 seasons, I am then going to make a longer documentary video ranking all the episodes in all 3 seasons of My Little Pony, the first 3 seasons. Now, I might do season 4 and season 5. I don't think I can do 6 through 9 because that's, like I said, that's when I stopped watching. And, like I said, I don't really have interest in the new season. Like, at all. It's not my cup of tea. Other people may like it. I mean, the brony community is very big, so I'm sure there's people who like. I know, like I'm not sure, like I know I know a lot of people like the new stuff, but I personally like the older seasons better. It's more my thing. Uh, there's nothing particularly wrong with the new seasons within in themselves. Like I said, it just feels like a different series, and the way the characters and episodes are written, it's not my thing. I don't particularly enjoy it. I tried watching New My Little Pony seasons. I found it very boring and uninteresting, and some of the writing was lazy in my opinion. Um, but you can't there's a lot going on in the new seasons too. There was like what Starlight had some stuff going on. There's a lot going on in the newer seasons of My Little Pony. The older episode. That's why I also feel like it'd be unfair to like rank the new and old ones because the old ones are like the classic episodes, and there's not as much going on in it. Yet, the old episodes are very important to the whole series because they are the building blocks of the show, and you're seeing the show get developed. Now, I don't know yet or not if I'll make this video into two parts. I probably won't. I'll probably have to take a break though. So yeah, cuz I feel like if I make let me rank season 1 part 1, let me rank season 1 part 2. I feel like nobody would watch. Like I feel that that would be very uninteresting. So I'm probably just going to make it all into like this is going to be one big video. This video out of all three of them is probably going to be the longest probably because of this intro, and I'm explaining all the rules at the start. Now I'm sure you guys want me to go ahead and start with the tier list, so that's what I'm going to do. The only thing about these old episodes, forget the newer seasons for a minute, it's kind of hard to rank these episodes in general because, again, I've been a brony for such a long time. My opinions on these episodes constantly change. They never do, like, stay the same. So, like some of these episodes I hated when I was little. Like I hated the Fall Weather Friends episode when I was younger because I just thought Rainbow Dash was being so unfair, and I felt like genuine anger towards Rainbow Dash. And then a few years later, I watched it, and I had like a weird hatred for Applejack. That's hard to believe. I know that is extremely hard to believe, but I had a weird hatred for Applejack, and I just wanted to see Rainbow Dash win. so, so yeah, that's just one example. Like some of these episodes, they kind of rage bait a little bit. I feel like Look Before You Sleep. That's kind of an immature episode because you have these two grown adult women fighting over petty stuff, and I like some of these episodes might shut up. Some of these episodes might seem boring, but like again, they're also really important. So I'm gonna try and put the harsher judgment on the side. Like this episode right here with Gilda, the first thought I think of it when I look at it is ugh, because that episode was so infuriating. Not saying it's a bad episode. I don't mean that at all. I mean like Gilda, but it's supposed to be infuriating. You're supposed to not like Gilda. So yeah, let's dive right into this. I got distracted again. I'm outside, so easily distracted right now. But I like recording my tier list videos outside. It's really relaxing to me, especially since it's summer. Summer is usually when I get really nostalgic, especially over like My Little Pony and stuff. Because summer is my favorite time of year because it's just really nostalgic for me, and it reminds me of when I was little. yeah, especially with the Brony fandom. So let's start with the very first episode of the entire series. Now, there is actually a pilot to My Little Pony. It was called My Little Pony Adventures. From what I remember, I think it was Adventures. I think I'm like 90% sure. Anyways, Lauren Faust made it, and I actually didn't find the pilot until like 2 or 3 years ago, which is very funny. But yeah, I'm not ranking the pilot. So the very first episode, I'm not saying it's B, I'm just moving it up so I can play with it. The very first episode, to any series, I feel like, is kind of hard to rank because it's the first episode. I feel like first episodes to any series shouldn't be ranked that hard, like at all, because it's like some series have like the worst first episode ever, like Ruby, no offense, but then as the series goes on, it gets better and better. While other series have an amazing first episode, and then the rest of the series is like dog crap. It reminds me of kind of like Generation 5 with the movie. But yeah, I'm not going to get too deeply into that. I'm just going to try and stay focused on the old stuff. But yeah, I'm sure you guys get my example. Now, with all that aside, I absolutely love the first episode of My Little Pony. I think they handled it very well. I'm actually really glad they didn't go on. They didn't do like a how do I want to say this? I'm glad they didn't do like a they didn't go into the lore too deeply. They kind of told the audience a little bit about the lore and then like built on top of that and had flashbacks throughout the series. That is a very smart decision because imagine just watching a show and getting overwhelmed by lore. Ruby, I'm sorry, but like you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's being said. You just a lore is very important, especially for a very first episode, so people can understand it, but at the same time it's the very first episode and people don't know as much as the writers. You have to write it like you're just showing somebody something for the first time, and I think they did that perfectly. They did a jam up job with that. You know, they did a good job introducing the characters. uh Twilight met them all in order, and it felt natural. It didn't feel too slow, and it didn't feel too quick either. It was nicely paced. It had funny jokes, derpies in it. So and oh, I'm just going to put both of these at B. I'm gonna put both of these at B. I might change it later, so that's not my final answer. Usually, like when first episodes, especially if they're like in two-part, I just put both of them together because if I don't, it's like really hard for my brain. This is basically just a continuation of this. I say my favorite thing in the second part of the first episode is I absolutely love the moment with Luna and Celestia. Like at first, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but later on in the series, that moment with Luna and Celestia is like such a big deal. It's like one of the biggest deals in the whole series. Like, Luna was just on the moon for all this time. And it was Celestia's first time seeing her. I think they did a good job. There were some other things that could have been added and explained, but you gotta understand this was the hub and this is My Little Pony, and My Little Pony is, at the time, it wasn't looked up as that big. It was just kind of like, whatever. So I'm just gonna put both of these at B. The Ticketmaster, this is where it gets hard. Okay. All of these episodes are just such classics. A lot of the early seasons episodes actually annoyed me when I was younger. Because it was just like, but that what draws you in, because like Twilight's friends are so terrible in this episode, dude. They are like, because it's funny too, because like the first episode, it's like, Twilight, go off and make friends, and then all of Twilight's friends are just like being so cruel to her. Like, they're just lying to her and bribing her, and they're all just being so awful. And like, even Fluttershy is complaining, and it's the very second episode, and Fluttershy is already like breaking character basically. Uh, and as a little kid, I took that very seriously. But I see why they went in this direction. They're, it's a good first episode. This is technically the first episode, not the first episode, but this is really just a story building episode, and this right here is the first like real episode, I'd say. Which, having Twilight's friends be rude, the first episode does actually make sense, because they're learning about friendship. The episode is kind of cheesy and corny, especially Rarity's bit. It's just kind of like, shut up. I like Rarity, but sometimes she can be a little, you know. Um. So yeah, I think it did kind of. Oh, the thing that annoyed me the most in this episode, though, wasn't even like the whole Twilight's friends being a jerk. It was literally Rainbow Dash thinking she had a better reason to go to the Grand Galloping Gala than Applejack, and really all of them. Like, all of them didn't really have that good of a reason to go as Applejack. And I remember being annoyed about that when I was younger. Applejack is literally just the underdog of the series. Um, she's a little funky, but she has a reason to be. That really annoyed me when I was younger, because Applejack is like literally poor. And Twilight's like, oh no, I don't know who to take. It's not that hard. It's not that difficult. Just take Applejack. I get the message, but they should have been like, if they wanted to make, they should have been like, oh, Applejack, what do you, I want a golden apple. I don't know. I want a new saddle. They have a golden saddle, and I want, like, anything like that. I don't know. That's the only thing that really bugs me about the episode. But besides that, it's good. I mean, all the season, like, all the classic episodes are good. That's kind of like I said, that's why it's kind of hard to rank these. If you guys hear wind, I apologize. It's like getting really windy right now, so I'm just gonna leave this at a B. Is this supposed to be Applejack? You need help. Oh, the one where she like poisoned the ponies with muffins. Yeah, that's an S. First of all, it's an Applejack episode. I think Bronies back then, they said like Applejack had like the best episodes, and then later in the series she got the worst episodes. I agree. I love the Apple family. They're so iconic. So this is already an S, because Applejack's my favorite character. So I'm gonna like anything with her in it if it's written well. This episode was written well. She was funny. I don't have much to say about it really. I liked when she like poisoned the whole town with the muffins, and I like how she was like what was it? She's like a workaholic, and she was like trying so hard, and everybody was like, "Whoa, Applejack!" I love Applejack. She's so cool. The only thing I hate about that episode is how Twilight used her magic to remove apples. You are not an Earth pony. That's not how it works. Oh, and I think how the first episode of My Little Pony is really about Applejack. I think that shows who the real main character is. I'm just saying. Like, sure, the first episode was on Twilight, but that Applejack episode had a little more character development. Now, I have mixed feelings about this episode, because, it's like the most rage-baiting My Little Pony episode. Which, the ending is really satisfying, because you just get to see, Gilda be bullied. I don't really like Gilda. I know in later seasons they, like, reformed her, and that's one of the issues I have with the later seasons of My Little Pony, is that they they tend to reform everybody, and somebody like I know it's a cartoon, but the cartoon teaches about valuable lessons, and it's really clear that Gilda is a narcissist and she's toxic and abusive, and people like her don't really change. So her character reformation, it felt very forced. She just felt like she became nice, like out of nowhere. It felt really forced, and I didn't like it because she's like so rude, and suddenly she turned nice. It felt like that one comic of Invader Zim where Gaz just suddenly turned nice. I'm not talking about in episodes, by the way. I mean like a really later comic. If you guys read the Invader Zim comics, there was an Invader Zim comic where Gaz just turned like completely nice because Zim went to an alternate universe, I think. That's how forced it felt. I'm sorry if that's rude, but it was on the same level. Like, I don't. They should have just kept Gilda mean, even though I hate her. So, but yeah, this episode, I really love Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie's friendship. I can't really see them being that close, but you know, they're solid friends. Um, you know, this episode is obviously infuriating because of Gilda, especially what she did, the Fluttershy. I remember my reaction to that when I was younger, and my jaw dropped. Like, I was just so surprised. I was like, what? Like, I was like, what? Like, and also didn't like Twilight in this episode. I'm sorry, I just didn't like Twilight in this episode. Well, Pinkie Pie, I think you're just jealous. Like, I get it. Twilight's new to Ponyville. She's trying to learn about it. But Twilight, what the fuck? What the fuck, Twilight? especially like Pinkie Pie. Pinkie Pie's not a person to get jealous. I feel it's Pinkie Pie. Pinkie Pie's literally friends with everybody in Ponyville. Like, I don't think she cares if, like, somebody is hanging out with somebody else. And it's obvious, like, she's a little bit closer with Rainbow Dash. Especially at this point in the season. It's only a few episodes in, but, you know, Pinkie Pie she formed this closer relationship to Rainbow Dash. And, you know, yeah. I don't know why Twilight thought Pinkie Pie was lying. That still pisses me off. I still just want to reach in my screen and just strangle Twilight. The ending was satisfying. Uh, I loved how it was Rainbow Dash actually doing everything and not Pinkie Pie. Pinkie Pie, I'm sorry, Twilight let her gaslight you. Pinkie Pie did let Twilight gaslight her, and Pinkie Pie felt bad, and she tried her nice to be really nice to Gilda, but you know, even with Pinkie Pie's kindness, Gilda, you know, she just kept getting meaner and meaner because Gilda is a narcissist who doesn't know how to handle kindness because it confuses her, so she takes out her aggression on people. That's how narcissist works. Yeah. So, I do like the twist that it was actually Rainbow Dash doing all that. I think that was actually like very cool, and it shows how much Rainbow Dash cares about Pinkie Pie. It's really cute. Although I do kind of wish it was Pinkie Pie that did that. That would have been a little bit more satisfying, but I do like the twist they did. Even after I rewatched the episode like years later, like I watched it like a few weeks ago with Peyton. Not a few weeks ago, it was like a few months ago. I watched it with Peyton and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot it was Rainbow Dash that did that. Because they played it off well. They really make you think it's Pinkie Pie. So I think they did that good. I'm gonna leave this one at B. Now the tricks, that is not even like a question, dude. That is not a question at all. I might like adjust these later, but like yeah. So usually when I put like something in B, like, oh, I like this episode the best other than these others here, so I'll put it in the front. I'll do that later. I'll do that very last. So this isn't even a question. I'll tell you this, when I was younger, I used to despise Trixie. Like, I hated her. You guys gotta understand, though, kids take stuff in cartoons more seriously. Like, this episode, I love Trixie. Can you guys tell I love Trixie? I don't really like what they did to her in the newer seasons. They made her like a main character, and I really don't think she works as a main character. She's definitely a side character. Cause Trixie is Trixie. What character development does she need? And I know what you're wondering, like, yeah, Trixie's mean. Why do you like Trixie and hate Gilda if they're both mean? Cause Trixie is funny and you're not supposed to take her seriously. She's literally a con artist. I love Trixie. I used to hate Trixie when I was younger. I hated her so much. I hated what she did to Twilight. But literally when I rewatched the episode, I was like, get her ass, Trixie. Get her ass, Trixie. Twilight just gets on my nerves sometimes. Like, she's definitely not my favorite out in the main six. I don't hate her, but but like, I wanted Trixie to win. Like, I kind of did want Trixie to win just because Trixie's funny and like she has such like a she's positive, like all the rest of the main six, they're like, grr, but it's like, why are y'all letting her get you upset like that? She's just enjoying herself. Who cares if the magic acts are fake, bro? If Trixie was doing something in town, I would 100% watch her show. If Twilight was doing something, I wouldn't go to her show. Fuck her. I'd go to Trixie's show instead. So yeah, I also find it funny that she's a unicorn doing magic and she's like doing fake magic. I think the fact that she's a unicorn doing fake magic with like magic tricks, and she's like, oh, I don't actually use my horn. I use I don't actually use my horn. I just use my hooves, and her horn's covered up by her hat. I think that would in itself should explain how serious you should take her character. The episode was great. I love seeing the main six get worked up. Trixie did get her punishment at the end of the episode. Is whatever. Trixie in the episode, she's painted like she's the bad guy, but it's all fun. It's all goofy. It's all in games. It's all heartwarming and charming. I really love that episode. Like I used to hate it when I was younger. Twilight, she does have some build up. Like, you do want to see Twilight win in that episode, like, because Trixie's being unfair, but like Trixie is so dramatic and funny. I can't take her seriously like the main six do. So, I do love the episode. The only downside of it is that Spike is really annoying in that episode. And I hate snips and snails with a passion, which you're supposed to. But and all that snips and snails and Spike thing going on, that was really annoying. But Trixie is the star of the episode. If Trixie is in any episode, if you know Trixie's gonna be in an episode, it's gonna be a good episode. It's just simply the later seasons. Like, they shouldn't have made her, like, more of a main character. This isn't a question either, guys. This is, like, I'd even put this in front of the Trixie if, well, I said I wouldn't, like, do that yet, but, I can change it later. Change the others later. This is one of the best episodes in the entire series. It is a very early episode, and it shows Fluttershy can stand up for herself. And I feel like that's something the new My Little Pony writers forget. Like, I've seen some clip about the new episodes, and people act like it's, like, shocking or, when Fluttershy stands up for herself. Like, she's been doing this, like, since the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's been doing this since the 7th episode of the entire series. Like, she knows, like, even in the very 3rd episode, even she was getting a little upset with Twilight there. Like, she knows how to talk, guys. She knows how to stand up for herself. She's just simply more quiet. Like, Fluttershy, she's always been brave, She's just not as outspoken as the other ones, other girls in the main six, and she keeps to herself, but that doesn't mean she's brave. Love this episode. There's nothing bad to say about it. It's funny. I love Applejack and Fluttershy's relationship in this. Appleshy is one of my favorite pairings, and this is really when it started. Because Applejack is more willing to listen and understand Fluttershy compared to the others. Because Applejack has more of that nurturing side to her. Like Rarity has it too, but Rarity is a little bit more judgmental over Fluttershy. There is some moments where Applejack gets irritated with Fluttershy, but it's just more because of Applejack being ignorant and being really focused on what she's doing, if that makes sense. I don't whenever she gets irritated at Fluttershy, I don't think she's actually irritated at Fluttershy. But that's just the vibes it gives off me. Plus the hop, skip, and jump song is in this, and I love the part with the dragon. It's all just S tier. Also, Spike isn't in it that much. It's gonna be a good episode. I'm sorry. Oh boy, now I have a lot to say. By the way, guys, I'm probably gonna do a few more and stop. Take a break. I'm gonna stop after the Sakura one. I'm probably gonna take a break, which it won't be a break for you guys, but this is a lot. I told you guys I talk a lot about My Pony. So the Look Before You Sleep episode, I have a lot to say about it. And it's kind of one of those things I feel that I constantly change my mind on. At first, when I watched this episode, I loved it. Then I watched it again, and then I hated it, and then I loved it. Out of all the episodes in season 1, I think this is the one I have the most mixed feelings about. I won't try to be too hard on it. When it comes to the entire series, this episode is really good because it's like a cult classic. It's really nostalgic. It's one of the most cult classic My Little Pony episodes, and I understand why, because there is a lot of tension in it, and it's a really early episode. So, I guess I'll just start with the things I already hate about this episode. Rarity and Applejack are very immature in this episode. The ponies are immature and don't act like adults in a lot of episodes. Now, personally, I see the main 6 as adults. All of them are adults. Rarity, she owns her own business. Pinkie Pie, she works at a cupcake shop. Rainbow Dash is a really trained athlete. Applejack helps run an apple farm. Twilight is very skilled in magic. And Fluttershy takes care of all them animals. I don't think that's something not even teenagers can do. If they are teenagers, they're probably on the older side. But I've just always seen them as adults. I don't really have much to say about that. That's just how I've always seen them. But they do get written like kids a lot. Just because it's the point of the show. They're supposed to learn friendship and shit. So often or not, a lot of these characters are acting like 12-year-olds. Which, I get that. It's kind of the point of the show. In reality, this Trixie stuff, if all the main 6 were matured and developed, they wouldn't care about Trixie. But they have to be dumb. So the main 6 are dumb a lot of times, but they have to be. So Rarity and Applejack are very immature in this, obviously. They kind of get mad at each other for no reason and for an immature reason because Applejack is more dirty and Rarity is more uptight. If you want my honest personal opinion, well, Applejack is my favorite character, so it shouldn't be a surprise to you. But I think Rarity was just being a little bit too much. It's Rarity, I know, but I kind of feel yeah, they were both being immature, but Applejack was more in the right, in my opinion. She did some dumb stuff too, but out of what they were fighting about, Applejack, Applejack, she's really down to earth and she has a lot of common sense. Rarity, it's just kind of dependent on the episode. Sometimes she's like weird and uptight, other times she's being written like very generous, and understanding. I like when Rarity is written like that better. I feel like it's more in her character. But we can have dramatic and icky Rarity. Why not? And I don't mind her being like that. Sometimes I just think the writers take it a little bit too far. Because Rarity is just like, usually a lot of kids' cartoons, you have the uptight girl, and it's like Lauren Faust. I can hear Lauren Faust screaming at these people in the room, like, being like, "Nuh-uh, she's not like that. She's kind and understanding." And these writers and the people working on the show are just not used to characters like that, so they just kind of write Rarity back into a stereotype. Now, sure, like the other characters are like that too. Pinkie Pie can be too hyper, but she's also charming. She's really charming. Same thing goes with the other characters, Like Fluttershy's shy, and she's timid, but she also knows how to stand up for herself. Applejack is arrogant and yada yada yada, but she knows how to come back to common ground. Same thing for all the characters. Not as much as Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash, it took her a little bit longer than the other characters to mature a little bit, but we all mature at different paces. So, yeah, I think Rarity was just being a little bit more unfair in this episode. I mean, if, like, for example, when Applejack walked in with muddy hooves, Applejack acted like she didn't even know she was walking in the house with muddy hooves, and Rarity got really upset about that. Her and Twilight could have handled that, because it's Twilight's house, so Twilight and, Applejack, Rarity just could have been like, "Hey, Twilight, do you appreciate that?" Or Twilight's like, "Oh, she could, she can go outside and walk her hooves, it's okay." Yeah, I think Rarity was just being a little bit too much in that episode. And Applejack kind of fell into a Rainbow Dash a little bit. Which, Applejack and Rainbow Dash have similarities, but Applejack is more mature than Rainbow Dash. Like, there was some stuff in that episode Applejack did that really did remind me of Rainbow Dash, when, like, she was, eating the cucumbers off her face. I think she was like, "Well, what's this for?" That's Applejack, but when she ate them to, like, to purposely irritate Rarity, and she acted upon her actions very quickly, just to do nothing other than to irritate Rarity, that felt like a child. That felt very, very Rainbow Dash to me. I feel like Applejack would just be like, "What darnation?" Like, she did do that though, so um. It's just I don't know how to feel about it. It's and they're obviously being very disrespectful to Twilight in the episode, like very disrespectful towards her. I feel kind of bad for Twilight in the episode. I know Twilight, like I said, Twilight isn't one of my main favorites, but like, she does have her moments where she's an amazing character. I just felt like they were being like very cruel towards Twilight. Poor Twilight in these early episodes, she's just kind of a punching bag. in the Applejack episode, she's getting pushed around. In the Trixie episode, she's getting pushed around. In the Dragonshy episode, everybody's just kind of like, "Shut up, Twilight, nobody cares." In the first two episodes, she's definitely being pushed around. Ticketmaster, she's harshly being pushed around, and in this episode, Twilight's being a jackass. And now we're back to pushing poor old Twilight. Poor old Twilight. She is kind of like a punching bag sometimes. A lot of times actually. They're being very disrespectful towards Twilight, and there was something Rarity did that like really ticked me off, and it was at the end where like Applejack was trying to help Twilight, like save Twilight from the tree or whatever, and Rarity didn't want to help her. She's like, "I'm not kicking it," even though there was like a tree in Twilight's tree, which is funny to say that, but there was a tree in Twilight's tree, and Rarity was like, "Oh, don't do that. Don't use the rope," even though the rope was going to help it. And like, who cares if she puts the fuck? Who cares if she ropes the fucking tree? Who gives a shit? Like, it's gonna help. So who fucking cares? And it gets done faster than you taking the trees and making them into little miniature figures. Like I said, Rarity's more dramatic, and it does work, but it mostly works when it plays off for laughs. This one was kind of more on the serious side. All in all, this episode felt a little bit more stereotypical. It didn't really feel like the ponies. It felt more like It felt really. I hate to say this, I really do, but it felt like an episode of Generation 2. Generation 2 was very stereotypical. Tea parties, sleepovers, boys, all that. It felt very stereotypical, which this episode it's not bad. Like, I know I just don't own it to death, but I actually do not hate this episode. I actually like some moments in it. It's very funny. I I like the part where Applejack and Rarity are like doing the bed thing. When Applejack said Geronimo or whatever, that did feel Rainbow Dash. I feel like if I was writing Applejack and she saw that, she'd just be like, I'll just sleep on the floor. So yeah, this is also the first Rara Jack episode. I would say Dragonshy was the first Appleshy episode, and the Gilda episode was definitely the first Rainbow Dash X Pinkie Pie episode. There was a lot of shippings already being formed. A lot of Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash shippers, they trace back to the Gilda episode, which I see why. I'll try not to go into too deeply on shipping. I feel like it's important to bring it up though, when I have to. So, in this episode, a lot of the Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash shippers started to arise. Dragonshy, I don't think there was a lot of ever Applejack and Fluttershy shippers in the fandom, even though it's like my favorite ship when it comes to the main six. So yeah, because I feel like Applejack and Fluttershy is something, on a realistic standpoint, is something that would work. Because out of the main six, Applejack is very kind and understanding to Fluttershy, and Fluttershy looks up to her. I feel like they would have a very healthy relationship if they did ever date or anything like that, which none of these characters can really date with each. Oh wait, I was wrong. Shit. Rainbow Dash and Applejack get married at the end of the series. Fuck, I forgot. I was about to say like they can't have these characters date each other. That would defeat the purpose of the show. And then I fucking forgot. Fucking Applejack and fucking Rainbow Dash get married. I don't know how to anyways, I feel like on a realistic standpoint, Applejack and Fluttershy would be like the better relationship, and then like a second up would probably be like Rarity and Fluttershy maybe, or like I feel like Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie, if they did it would last for like a few months, and they would just be like, okay, whatever. Like, it would just be for like a few. Okay, that's enough of that. But what I was trying to say is that this episode really did kickstart like the Rara Jack ship, like even more. I feel like than the Gilda episode with Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash and the Dragonshy episode. So yeah, this episode like really kickstarted Rara Jack. I think like you guys, I was so young when I first watched the series. I feel like that, like, the ship just, like, really kickstarted after that episode. Like, I still see, like, a lot of Rare Jack ship art, and a lot of it still traces back to this episode, like, a decade later. Same thing with the Gilda episode. Okay, guys, this is the last episode I'm going to talk about for now, and then I'm going to take a break. It won't be a break for you guys. You guys, just be, like, 1 second. This episode, I don't think I even I'll move it way up. I think I like this better than the Applejack episode. This episode, let me go ahead and do that now. Like, since they're my main favorites, they're like easier to rank. I think I'm not gonna say it yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think this is probably my favorite episode in all of season 1. There is nothing bad about this episode. It is absolutely genius and hilarious, and I wish they would have done more episodes like that, because holy shit. The plot for this episode, like the synopsis, the summary for it, or whatever you want to call it, has so much potential. The girls walk into this poison joke and it like messes up with them. Like, you know, they get funny versions of themselves. There is so much you could do with that. So much. They didn't go too far with it though. They, you know, they handled it the My Little Pony way. They went more like slice of life, down to earth. That's fine. This is it's just fun. It's just a fun episode. Like, it's fun. It's fun. I don't know how else to explain it other than fun. Like, it is just fun to watch. It's enjoyable. It's hilarious. Everybody in the episode is great. I actually like Spike in the episode. He's funny. Hey kitty. Hey kitty. Kitty's looking at me through the window. I love Sakura. She's one of my favorite characters ever. I love her. She's great. I don't know what else to say about her. She's a great character. This is the first episode. Well, no, Gilda. Never mind. This is one of the first episodes to introduce like a different species besides the Griffons. But who cares about Gilda? So zebras. You know, you have one living in the Everfree Forest. Sakura, you know, she makes potions and stuff. And I'm kind of glad that the series went more for people, like the ponies judge other species more instead of the races. Because I feel like that would have gotten annoying really quick. Like, imagine like the characters being like, "Oh, Applejack, you suck because you fucking Earth Pony." Pinkie Pie, "You're an Earth Pony too, you dummy." Like, that would have gotten annoying. That would have gotten annoying real quick. Like, it really would have. Like, I'm really glad they didn't go in that direction. Which, like, on paper, that seems like a good idea, but, like, it would have gotten annoying real quick, is what I'm saying. Which, that is implied, like, the races judging other races. It is implied throughout the series, but it's not like straight out shown. I don't know, it might be in the other later seasons. I don't know, I haven't fucking watched them. But yeah, what I'm saying is that would have gotten annoying real quick. This episode is the introduction of Applebuck. I think, like, she is my favorite out of the CMC, to be honest. She's funny, she's charming, she's cute, now, the CMC do get fucking annoying sometimes, but in the early seasons, they tend to be fine. Thank you, Lauren Faust, for not making them annoying. I fucking love you. Thank you so much for not making them annoying. Thank you. Some of the later seasons, the CMC get written so fucking annoying. There's nothing more irritating in a show than making the kid characters, like, extremely annoying. I can't stress that out enough. Nobody wants to watch a show that reminds them of kids. Annoying little kids. No, but the CMC are charming kids, though, in the early episodes. We haven't gotten to CMC episodes yet, but CMC episodes, there's those things you either like or hate. You either like the CMC in their episodes or you don't like them. They're kind of just like a distraction from the main plot of the series. It's just according to, what your taste buds are wanting to have at that moment. So yeah, let me get more into this episode. The first part is great. You know, there's some racism in this episode. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, so I'll just say, zebraism. That sounds stupid, I know, but I don't want this video to get, blown into smithereens by YouTube, so, please, accept that really weird word I just said. And I hope that word doesn't mean something else. You know what? I'm probably just gonna say like indifference to Sakura, which I already said the word. You know what word I said. So hopefully this video doesn't get fucking blown to smithereens. I hope. So obviously they have an indifference to Sakura. And a lot of the fandom says because she's black, you know, she has a black voice actor. So yeah, I can see that. In this universe, though, it's because she's a zebra and she's indifferent, um, and you know she's a different species, and she comes in the ponytail. She comes in the ponyville with this cloak on, and she's digging at the ground, and she seems different. Um, it's pretty obvious that the zebras in the show are like based off of like African cultures. You can tell by the way they're dressed, especially like historically. You can just tell. Like the zebras, they are implied to be African. I don't know what the fucking griffins are supposed to be. I couldn't fucking tell you. They're just assholes. That's their fucking species, assholes. So, yeah, so that's where the whole you know, the racism jokes come from. I think I already said racism like 1,000 times in this episode when I was talking about the pony races. So I think I just ruined it already. So whatever. Who cares anymore? Who cares? So yeah, they have an indifference to Sakura, and they run into the poison joke, and they blame it on her because she's you know, she's weird to them. Which, to be fair, if I saw somebody in Ponyville digging at the ground, I'd be kind of suspicious too. But Applebloom is very smart. Often or not, kids are smart because kids don't judge; they see right through things. So Applebloom could tell from the start Sakura meant no harm. Kids, you know, they're very open-minded. Usually, they tend to be, and they you know, they tend not to judge as harshly as adults. So I really like how they wrote Applebloom like that. She's like Applejack. She's have a very strong ground. She knows how to be right. Applejack was a little extra in this episode. Listen to your big sister. You know, it was a little cheesy, but whatever. It was funny. So who cares? I liked when Applejack kicked Rainbow Dash and she flew backwards. I loved I loved Twilight's horn. They gave her a fucking dick. They gave her a dick for a horn. They gave her a fucking. They gave her a fucking penis. She deserves that. They made Pinkie Pie where she couldn't talk. Thank God. Even Spike was like, "Oh, thank God." I agree with him. They gave Rarity hair, whatever. Like, oh, she's getting dirty. She deserves that too. And then you have Flutter Guy, which the whole fandom had to fucking fit over. Um, Flutter Guy, I love you, Flutter Guy, which is just Big Mac's voice actor voicing Fluttershy, I'm sure. So that was lovely. I love the rap. There was so much back in the day. There was so much brony edits of like people editing like very vulgar rap songs over Flutter Guys singing whenever they were outside of Zakura's hut. There was one where was like, you gotta fuck shit star or something like that. I can't sing it or I'm gonna be copyrighted, I think. But there was like so much A and B's and stuff like that, and PMV. Well, they're called nerd emoji. They're called PMVs. So there was so much of that, and yeah, this is just I can't praise this episode enough. It's a classic. It is a classic. When you think of My Little Pony classics, this is definitely like one of the biggest classic episodes. Like, it is just that good. It's that funny. I love Applebloom. The whole thing is just fucking enjoyable. And fun fact, when I was little and they were coming up with a name for Twilight, like Spike was naming them like Flutter Guy, Harity, Spitty Pie, Rainbow Crash, Apple Teeny, and then he just looked at Twilight's horn. He's like, "Oh, I don't know what you'd be," and I literally like told my family like Twilight would be Horny Sparkle, because the horny. I didn't know what that meant when I was younger, and I just remembered that. I just remember that, and I just like hate myself where I was like, oh my fuck. It was the same thing with Princess. you guys know what I'm talking about. The funky princess version of Princess Celestia with the old Tumblr ass blog. If you guys don't know who she is, I can't say that word on YouTube, I'm sure, not anymore, maybe back then, but it's a sensual, Princess Celestia, and I had a pink Princess Celestia toy, and I would call her that, and I'd tell people that. I didn't know what that word meant when I was younger either. Fucking brony fandom killed my brain, dude. So yeah, I fucking love the episode. It brings back such fond memories. It's one of my favorites. Don't worry, I am not crying over My Little Pony. My nose is snuffy because I've been out here in the heat for a while. So, which is not that hot anymore because it's gonna get dark soon. I have a weird thing with my YouTube videos. But I like making these videos in the afternoon. I either like making videos in the morning or the afternoon for some reason. I definitely don't make them at dark most of the time. So yeah. I'm going to take a break. I'm probably going to make a timestamp in my video. So, let's just process these fucking nuts. Let's just process these that I have up here real quick. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We haven't even got through half of them and I'm already done. Oh, maybe another day. Maybe I can stay consistent with this every day until I get done with it. So yeah, you guys, I'm going to see what I'm going to do with my editing software. If I have to make a part 2, you guys will know. And if I continue this video like it is, you guys will also know. So I don't want to be like, okay guys, see you guys in a second, and then like the editing program I have won't can't handle this video, and I have to like make a whole separate one. We'll just see what happens. But if I do have to make a separate video, I'll see you guys, and if this video gets attached to all of it, like I'm gonna try and make this all one big video, I'll also see you guys. So we'll just see how my editing software handles this. But yeah, anyways, either way, you guys, I'll see you in a bit.